Good morning. It's such a pleasure to see a full room again after so many years having a symposium here physically. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, distinguished participants, as the co-chair of the program board, I'm really honored and pleased to welcome you to the 2023 GEO Symposium. It's been with great excitement that we gather here today in Geneva after so many years of absence to plan for and embark on a journey of knowledge exchange, collaboration, discussions, and decisions that will make real impact in the real world. No doubt we are living in unprecedented times, and we stand at crossroads of many challenges and pressures for the planet, humans, and nature itself. But also, in front of us lie great many opportunities to try to build a more sustainable and resilient future for us and our children. So let's not fool ourselves. It's a combat with nature. We have lived together in harmony during the last thousands of years, but we have somehow managed in 1 century to destroy this balance. Now it's time for us to fight back, not fight back against nature, but fight back against ourselves. And in this delicate war, I would say, we need all weapons at our side. And no doubt Earth observation is one of those weapons, together with integrated information that we have to use. An example how I see Earth observation, like the third eye in psychology, which actually allows us to overlook the planet in an unobstructed way by all these illusions of material reality, and allows us actually to get some wise decisions. This is how I see things. So how we do it in GEO? We do it through our work program, which is what we are here about. We do it through the 48 initiatives and pilots that currently comprise the GEO work program, and they have been developing in the last decade to deliver operational solutions to a wide range of users worldwide. And in this development, we have had many success stories, probably some failures, but what's for sure, we have had a lot of lessons learned upon which we now have to build, while we also turn our sight to our post-2025 GEO. The post-2025 strategy is actually illuminating the way forward through mainly 5 goals. Goal number 1, co-produce transformative programs that provide trusted Earth intelligence. And by intelligence, we want to reflect the whole chain, moving from data to knowledge and information and wisdom for the planet. Goal number 2, increase global equity through accessible Earth intelligence. Goal number 3, integrate new technologies and innovations into Earth intelligence services. Goal number 4, increase the participation of young people in the development of Earth intelligence. Goal number 5, invest in integrated activities to raise awareness and resources for Earth intelligence. I already feel more intelligent than I did 5 minutes ago, but anyway. So, over the next 2 days, we will be exploring all these critical issues that exert pressure on the planet, on humans, on ecosystems, including biodiversity threats, the climate crisis, the need for urban resilience, and we should also be thinking about the operational services that we should start thinking of in the roadmap for post-2025. And while we are doing this, we also need to start identifying all those synergies needed, because we are not alone in the planet, synergies at the higher level, UN organizations, but also to the most local level, where actions really need to take place. And also in parallel, we need to think, what is it that makes us different as GEO? What is the real value proposition of GEO in order for us to stand out in the crowd, which is why we have gathered here today. So with these few words, hopefully few, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all participants, speakers, everybody, and especially the organizers, the GEO Secretariat, that made this event true and makes us all very happy to be here. So everybody's in the GEO community engagement and commitment is truly commendable, and we hope that we will see you all remaining active in the years to come. So thank you very much. Okay. Yes. Who will put context and inspire the discussions that are going to be having here. So the first speaker stands at the forefront of promoting Earth observation and helping collaboration across GEO, and lately has taken also the leadership of the GEO Secretariat. So the first speaker is the director, Yana Gevorgyan. So Yana, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. My own echo. What's happening? Do you hear echo? I think I need to turn on the speakers. Okay, it's okay. So once again, good morning, everyone. How are you? Okay, maybe not so great. You know me, when I latch on to you, I don't let go. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We can be here all day, guys. This third one, we better make it like we mean it. So, okay. Good morning, everyone. Fine. It doesn't meet my expectations, but fine. It's too early and you're not ready to play. We're going to try it after lunch. And we are here to play a bit. We are on an important mission, but I do want this to be fun, right? It's a reunion we're having. We haven't actually gotten together face to face in this way for quite some time in the context of a GEO Symposium. Last time we reconnected was in Accra. Thank you, Ghana, Amos, and others for hosting us once again. There's never enough thank yous to go around. But as far as the GEO Symposium goes, this is the first one since, that thing that happened to the civilization, COVID-19. And here we are. We have emerged quite nicely in fine form, and we are reuniting and also making some new acquaintances here that I think are going to be critical as we forge this path that Evangelos described. I do want to also recognize and give my thanks to the leadership of the program board and the entire program board who has worked with the Secretariat to make this event possible. So to Evangelos, to Tony, thank you. And also a very special thank you and a shout out to our third co-chair, who I hope we can replace my face with her face on the screen. And Andiswa, please put your camera on. You all know Andiswa Lisa. She needs no introduction. Is she coming? Because I'm going to say actually, no, I can speak about Andiswa for a good time. So you can find her there in the Zoom verse and put her on the screen. Who knows Andiswa Lisa? Exactly. Andiswa, that was a much better response than to my good morning. Every hand went up pretty much in the room. And it's no surprise because Andiswa has been with GEO since 2006. And why am I speaking about Andiswa? Because today she actually completes this chapter of her GEO journey. She is stepping down from the GEO program board as our co-chair. Should I do something from here? Because she's still not there. All right. Well, Andiswa has been with us since 2006. So all of you in science, technology, mathematics world, that's a big number, right? She was here in the Secretariat for a part of the time in 2014, where she helped set up AfriGeo, the robust, rich community on the continent of Africa that engages in GEO. And then in 2019, she joined the program board as one of the 3 co-chairs, and really has been an active champion of the vision that we are putting forward through our strategy. So I do want to, on behalf of everyone, thank Andiswa for the time that she gave to GEO. And I know for a fact that once GEO, always GEO. So it's probably going to be not too long before we see her again. And how I wish we could actually see her on the screen. Believe me, she's there. She does know.
I am here. Thank you, Yana.
You're not going to put your camera on? Is it too early for you to?
It's not allowing me to put the video on. I guess the Secretariat will have to give me permissions for that. It says unable to start video.
Okay. Well, we'll bring Andiswa on the screen as soon as we're able to sort out this little technical situation. So before we speak a little bit about the way forward, I do want to take a quick stock of what we've accomplished together and where we stand today, and this strong foundation on which we build our future together. We've been the drivers of this movement of openness, open data, open learning, sharing, open science, and open knowledge, which we've adopted as our principle, as our operating core principle. Was it last year? I think it was last year we formally accepted open knowledge into our core principles. We've been driving partnerships to create meaningful solutions through our flagship and initiatives. And in the last 18 months or so, we've been really putting a lot of effort into creating more and more synergies within our own community to really put that 1 + 1 = 3 to work. And a few examples that I'd like to highlight that happened just recently. So these are fresh examples of how much we can achieve when we put members of our community working together. Just at Accra, in fact, it wasn't that long ago, we had a really fun meeting with GPSDD, Global Partnership for Sustainable Development Data, our GEO-LDN team. And we talked about how we can leverage our respective networks and expertise to scale and expand the implementation of land degradation neutrality in Africa. And today already, this partnership is beginning to flourish, where GEO-LDN will be working with GPSDD in the context of the Capacity Accelerator Network to bring the knowledge, the tools of LDN to expand its impact on the continent. Similarly, we've been coordinating the relationship between GeoGlows, where are you? And the World Health Organization to really bring the power of the GeoGlow service that provides information about the water quantity to bear on predicting risk of waterborne disease like cholera. It's a new relationship that is taking really exciting shape, and we're super happy to have the opportunity to champion it and shepherd it and take it forward and support it with our communications, with resource mobilizations efforts, with advocacy. We're really excited to also bring back some organizations who maybe got detached from GEO for a little bit, for a while. In the context of a new initiative we're creating, the Global Ecosystems Atlas that you will hear about, we're really looking forward to partnering with conservation organizations, large organizations from the civil society, IUCN, World Resources Institute, Global Forest Watch, Global Mangrove Watch, the Coral Allen Atlas, and others to create this new transformative scale solution that will help us meet the needs of people, nature, and planet. All of these efforts are then encapsulated in the post-2025 strategy. And I know normally people don't like to talk about a document, about a strategy document, but I hope you will find it exciting to talk about this strategy because it is a pathway to take you to new places, the places you can go, the places we can go together. It sets a vision that Evangelos nicely summarized, so I don't have to do that. But I hope that in these 2 days, you will be able to reflect on it and connect to it. So you can feed your perspective, your needs, your expectations into the development of post-2025 GEO. And as you do that, I call on you to do one thing. Adopt a growth mindset. All of us need to adopt the growth mindset because we are in a unique moment when the triple planetary crisis comes with huge challenge, a massive demand, but also huge opportunity. GEO has been around for 18 years. We are ready to take on the challenge, to bring to bear the power of Earth observation, of technology, of artificial intelligence used for good, our connections with the local communities, indigenous communities, to build the kind of solutions that will provide that coveted intelligence. But only if we can truly adopt the growth mindset. And please be active. We love to talk about GEO community. Let everyone see and hear and feel the power of this community when it's activated. So I ask you one thing. I'm never good at this stuff, but I'm going to do this. That's why I asked you all to concentrate in those 2 sections. There you are. I'm going to take this group photo. Are you guys smiling? Come on, please smile. All right. And we're all going to engage with this photo on social media. Hashtag GeoSymposium. I'm told we have over 100 people right now in the room. Sorry about all of those online. I want to see 100+ amplifications of this thing online. So please indulge me. Let's do this fun thing, not right now, but at coffee breaks throughout the day. Repost, say what you think about GEO, why you love GEO, why you are here with the hashtag GeoSymposium. And it's really my pleasure to turn the microphone. Wait, Evangelos, back to you, or do I? To Reinhard. Andiswa, hi, there she is. So can we please say thank you to Andiswa one more time, now where we can see her? Andiswa, you have touched so many people with your intelligence and your passion and your vision and your dedication. There is not a person in this room that somehow, in some way, shape, or form has not benefited from knowing you, from working with you. And I want you to know that. And I really look forward to having you back in whatever shape and form you come. But I know you'll come. All right, so on this note, it is my absolute pleasure to turn the floor and the microphone over to our next speaker, who represents an organization that is not yet a member of the GEO family formally, but our missions intersect. And so I think, take my word for it, it's going to be quite soon when we'll be able to welcome the International Telecommunications Union into our family. And I'm really delighted to introduce Reinhard Scholl, who leads the AI for Good initiative at ITU. Many of you have already spoken in that forum, but we are here to hear from Reinhard about their mission and the complementarity between our joint missions. So over to you, Reinhard.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Can you hear me if I'm next to the mic? Okay. I will talk about AI. I will give you my thoughts on AI. So it's not a version of ITU or the United Nations. I think that's going to be much more interesting for you. And of course, my opinion is biased by a myriad of things. Let me first present the ITU, the International Telecommunication Union. We are a public-private partnership. We have member states as members, we have companies and organizations as members, and we have universities as members. I don't think there is any other organizations in the world, as far as I know, or as far as we know, that has that kind of membership. What is it that we do? We make standards. If you dial a country code like +41 for Switzerland, that's an ITU standard. If you're watching a YouTube video, it's very likely that you're using a compression algorithm that has been standardized by ITU in collaboration with our sister organizations, ISO and IEC. And most of the international traffic runs over optical fiber networks, also national traffic. So optical fiber standards are coming from ITU. We also allocate frequencies to the services that make use of electromagnetic waves. And whenever a company or a member state shoots up a satellite into space, ITU needs to get notified. And we also assist developing countries in setting up their information and communication infrastructure. I divided my talk into 3 talks, so I'll pick 3 areas where I think progress has just been amazing in AI. Then I will talk about our AI for Good initiative. And then I will also talk about the challenges that AI is posing. So from like 2010 and 15, the vision problem, computer vision problem was sort of solved. Computers can now see better than human beings. What I would like to know from you actually is, and this is something that we have discussed, that people discussed at our AI for Good Global Summit since 2017, is when would it be possible to have a real-time Google Earth at different levels of altitude? For example, I'm a Swiss farmer. I would like to see where my cows are right now. Can I do that? Suppose I'm an economist. I would like to count the number of cars in front of supermarkets, and I would like to estimate the GDP. Actually, I would like to have AI do the counting of the cars and then automatically spit out an estimate for the GDP. Can I do this? Suppose you were able to make this available as a public service like the weather service. If I want to find out the weather today, I don't have to pay, it's easy. Could such a service be offered for a real-time sort of Google map? So I would be interested to hear you. The next progress has been made in natural language processing. Can I have a show of hands? Who of you is using ChatGPT or GPT-4 on a regular basis? Let's say maybe every day or maybe a few times per week. Can I see a show of hands? Okay, who is using ChatGPT not maybe occasionally? Who has not used the ChatGPT? Okay, you're making a mistake. Yeah. I think it's just unbelievably amazing what ChatGPT is able to do, or maybe GPT-4. So that's the paying version. You pay $20 or 20 francs for it, or if your company has an arrangement with commercial companies. It's, for me, this is an intelligence. It's a different kind of intelligence. It's not a human intelligence, but it doesn't matter for me. It's some kind of intelligence. I think it's just unbelievable what these tools come, and there is so much innovation happening right now. So people have a hard time to keep up. I recommend that you take a look at this paper that I put up here. It's a long paper, and It was put out by Microsoft last month or 2 months ago. You can read it even if you're not a techie or a scientist. There are lots of things that you understand, and it's just amazing what the tool is able to do. Who has heard of AlphaFold or the protein folding problem? Okay, not too many. So I think that's the biggest breakthrough in the sciences in the last couple of years, and I think this is worth 5 Nobel Prizes. So the problem is the following: proteins are biomolecules that do important stuff in your body, and proteins are composed of amino acids, a bunch of Lego blocks. And the linear sequence of amino acids folds into a 3-dimensional structure. Now, the linear sequence of the amino acids uniquely determines the 3D structure. And what scientists are hoping for is that once you figure out the 3D structure, then you can figure out the function of the protein, because a protein does one thing really, really well. The protein folding problem, like figuring out the 3D structure, has been a big problem for the last 50 years. And it takes about 1 PhD thesis, 1 PhD student to figure out the structure of one protein if the person is lucky. There are experimental techniques like X-ray crystallography, but what Google's DeepMind was able to do, they used machine learning to predict the 3D structure of proteins, and they were very good at it. Not perfect, but they're very good at it. And they were able to do this for all the proteins in the human body, of which there are about 20,000. But not only that, they were able to do this for all the animals, for all the proteins known in animals, in plants, in fungi, over 200 million proteins. I mean, just unbelievable. And then even maybe more impressive, or just as impressive, they made all these data available publicly. They worked together with the European Molecular Biology Lab in Heidelberg in Germany. Everything is open, and thousands of researchers are working on it. So I think this is really worth like 5 Nobel Prizes. The language of physics is mathematics. A physicist can work with simple systems like 1 or 2 particles, and a particle might be an atom or a planet. A physicist can solve systems with an infinite number of particles, but everything in between is horribly complicated. A protein molecule is horribly complicated. A cell is even more complicated. And the differential equations just don't really cut it. But machine learning may turn out to be the language for biology. Of course, machine learning is also based on mathematics, but it's a different kind of mathematics. Okay, now I'm moving to what we are doing in ITU with respect to AI. So we have been organizing a physical event since 2017. We work together with 40 UN organizations as partners, and the endeavor is sponsored by, among other things, by Switzerland. So the goal is, what can AI do to help achieve the Sustainable Development Goals? When COVID came, we had to start basically from scratch again. We turned our AI for Good into an AI for Good online platform. And what you see here is our calendar the last 3 years. So every little yellow bar is one webinar, which is like 60 or 90 minutes with 1 or 2 or 3 or so speakers. Our sessions are pretty technical, so we don't like fluffy stuff. We really go into the scientific and to the engineering level. Here is one way on how our content could be organized. So we have curators. These are like directors of Max Planck Institute, or heads of physics department, or heads of medical bioinformatics departments. And so we work on topics like health. We have something on GEO. We have manufacturing. So you can see the the topics here. On GEO, we have 3 women who are curating our program. So this is Professor Maria Brovelli from the Politecnico di Milano in Italy. We have Barbara Ryan, a former executive director of GEO, and we have Nadine Nalané from the Open Geospatial Consortium. And so they have the network, they get us the content, and we run the machinery in the background. To give you one example, so when Maria proposed a talk on this topic here, a workshop, I thought, this is a niche audience, which might reach perhaps 50 people, but this was our most successful event we ever did. We had thousands of people who actually watched the video on YouTube, and over 1,000 people who followed the event online. This was a 2 times 2.5 hour like workshop, so people really had to do stuff. So we have really solid, very good content. We also run challenges, we run competitions. So we run about 20 competitions per year. We started in 2020, and here is one example of one of the competitions. Perhaps you may also have some thoughts, and it would be great to work with you on this. We started we created a social network, which we call a neural network. It's sort of a mixture of Netflix recommendation, a dating app, and LinkedIn. So it's a content platform, an events platform, and a networking platform. And we see great growth of our network. I mean, people actually have to do something. You know, it's not just hitting one button. You have to enter contact details. You have to do a matching quiz. You're interested in the SDGs, you actually have to do something. And but the growth is great. We have almost 20,000 people now on our network. We also do technical work in the ITU, so that's not under the umbrella of AI for Good, but we have quite a number of technical groups that work on AI, and we also collaborate with other UN organizations on some of these topics. We are this year also back to a physical event, so I would like to invite you to our Global Summit, which is on the 6th and 7th of July. It's in Geneva at the International Conference Center, 500 meters up the hill here. And we also have some machine learning workshops, some technical machine learning workshops on the 5th of July. It's free, you don't have to pay. You can follow in person, you can follow online, but you have to register. We're going to be sold out. Well, we are not selling, but if you would like to participate, please do so. It's the coolest event in Geneva this year. So we really have a fantastic program. So some of the speakers here, they would be headliners in other conferences like the Web Summit, but the real stars might actually be our robots. We have about 50 robots, and among them 8 or 9 humanoid robots. So there is no conference in the world that has been able to bring that many robots, humanoid robots, in one place. You may have perhaps one humanoid robot, but we're able to bring 8 or 9 humanoid robots to Geneva. I would like now to look at the challenges, spend some time on the challenges that AI is posing the way I see it. One is you need data to train your machine learning algorithms. Data are biased, and so bias leads to discrimination. What can you do about it? One thing which might not work is that you ask companies to display their training data. I mean, that's the secret sauce of their business. Why would they do this? Also, when there's so many data, I'm not quite sure whether you would get something useful out of it. What you should use as a judgment is you should judge the machine learning algorithm on the output that it is producing. You know, you can systemize this, and you should also have external audits look at your algorithm. The next big problem is misinformation. You know, today it's just simply, I mean, it's a piece of cake to produce fake videos or text or audio. The truth might become just a drop in an ocean of lies. I read an article in New York Times where a computer professor gave a cybersecurity exam to his students, and then he gave the same exam to ChatGPT. The answers of ChatGPT were wrong, but he said it was written so convincingly, I really had to sit down and look at my own solution to make sure that my solution was correct, which is that leads to the conclusion you can ask ChatGPT only something if you already know the answer. But who is going to do that? So maybe this problem is going to be solved eventually. I think it's not sure yet, but I think this is a really big problem. How could you solve it? I think you have to be able to verify the sources of your content. So that's a technical solution. And then, but also you should look at a legal solution that would make it really very expensive for people who try mass deception by fake videos. Unemployment, the argument goes as follows. Well, if you look back in history, sure, there was technology innovation, and then some people got unemployed, but then there were new jobs being created. And if you look at today, pretty much like many people are much better off than at any point in human history. Okay, there is some collateral damage, but you know, we're pretty good right now. Another argument is also AI or technology is not eliminating jobs, it is eliminating tasks, and a job has many tasks. I recommend that you read the book called Power and Progress by two well-known economists, MIT economists, which came out just a couple of weeks ago. Their thesis is the following. They looked at the history of innovation and technology of the last 1,000 years, and they say technology, innovation does not automatically mean progress for the masses. Look at agriculture about 1,000 years ago. There was innovation, there was the mill, there was the water mill, there was fertilizer came about. But the life of the peasants continued to be actually getting worse over like 200 or 300 years, because all the productivity gains were reaped by the elite, by the nobility, by the church. Look at all the cathedrals, the churches that have been built in Europe. So they say society really has to work, put a lot of work, a lot of effort into making sure that the productivity gains are being brought to the masses. Next problem is that there is an elite versus what Yuval Harari calls a user's class. I think, ChatGPT is fantastic. It helps me a lot. If you're a coder, it's going to increase your productivity by a lot. I can learn a lot from ChatGPT, but I'm pretty educated and you're pretty educated. But what other people? There may be other people that are not that educated, that are not able to maybe to use it properly. So I think we're going to see a bigger division in classes, an elite versus a useless class. My colleagues tell me this is not a photoshopped image, this is a real image. Will AI take over the world? How could that actually happen? I think there is nothing that a computer AI will not be able to do better than a human being eventually. Nothing, like nothing. Tell me afterwards whether you become an example, and I will try to argue against it. So what does it mean? How could AI take over the world? I mean, ChatGPT right now cannot execute stuff, but there is something, people are working on something called AutoGPT. You connect it to the internet, you make resources available, maybe it gets access to your bank account, maybe to your to electricity grid, and you tell them, make me money, and then it gets loose. Right now, that's not possible. And but maybe next year, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, people who are pointing out this danger are often maybe ridiculed, but I think it's a very serious problem. I don't think we have a solution to this. The Economist did an interview with Henry Kissinger, who turned now 100 years old. And he said, in his view, that's a quote from The Economist, the fate of humanity depends on whether America and China can get along. He believes in the rapid progress of AI in particular, leaves them only 5 to 10 years to find a way. I think that's actually my biggest worry. Interesting is also the question on the impact of digital technologies and AI on us. I think that many people will develop a closer relationship to their personal AI than they develop to their spouse or to their friends. I mean, already today, some people like to spend their time rather with their dog than with a spouse. And your AI will be much more able to manipulate you, to find you, to make you feel good. I think that's where we are going. 2 final slides. You often hear, technology is neither good nor bad. It's neutral. No, technology is not neutral. Technology reflects the power structure of society. I don't have time to tell the 2-minute story that goes with this picture, but I'll give you a short example. The size of the smartphone fits the hand of a man. It doesn't fit the hand of a woman. This is an example of how technology reflects the power structure of society. Another statement that is often said, we need to make sure that we use technology for good. My big question is, who is we? Is it me? No, I don't think so. Is it you? No, I don't think so either. Is it maybe the way it looks today? Is it Microsoft and Google? Maybe the open source community is pretty good. The language models are excellent. Maybe it's a new startup that's coming. So I don't know. That's a big worry for me. I'm not sure whether we are able to get our hands on the problem. I think eventually technology will become too powerful for human beings to manage. I think it will become too easy for a person on the street to do major damage. And if that happens, you basically have to monitor people 24/7, 360 days a year. My opinion, I don't know whether that's going to be true, but that's how I see things. So I want to finish on a positive note. You can buy this T-shirt here if you would like to. And I'll invite you to come to our summit 6th, 7th July, 5th of July, online and in person. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reinhard. So I think we should grab the opportunity, having the privilege to have Reinhard with us, and gently attack him during the breaks and try to give some questions that we can start, creating this marriage that we are hoping for between Earth observation, which is big data, and they need big data, and artificial intelligence, which is what we need to clear up our chaos. So thank you very much, Reinhard. So next and lastly, I'm very much pleased to call upon a good friend of mine, Helen Glaves from the British Geological Survey. She's also the president of the European Geosciences Union. She has been working hard, among many other things, in GEO to promote in situ on par with satellite information. But today, she's going to update us about the open data and open knowledge workshops. Actually, we're very lucky having this workshop back to back, because what we are discussing here, then we will see some tangible examples, and we will discuss about the importance of openness, which is equally important. And I think there's no better person than Helen to introduce us into this. Helen.
Thank you very much. It's a real honor and a real pleasure to be here. And actually, I'm not sure how I follow the last presentation, but as Evangelos said, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the Open Data, Open Knowledge Workshop, but I want to make a couple of observations just before I move into that. Firstly, I think the presentation we've just heard about artificial intelligence and the importance of good data and the availability of good data emphasizes the importance and the role that GEO can play in ensuring that that data is available. The conversation that we are now having about making good data open and available for training of our AI is a critical conversation that is not just happening in GEO, it is happening in a whole raft of different spaces. So I think what I'd like to emphasize is, as Evangelos already mentioned, part of the reason I'm standing here is I'm going to say something about an event that's happening later in the week, which is the Open Data and Open Knowledge Workshop. Again, I think this is critical because this is a community-led and a community-driven activity where we're actually trying to bring the GEO vision and strategy with regards to data and knowledge. And I think knowledge is also a critical word here. Within the context of GEO, open science and open knowledge go hand in hand. They cannot be separated, and they should also be considered in consultation as well. As Evangelos mentioned, I'm also part of the GEO's data working group. And so I thought it was appropriate for those here, just to say a few words about the role of the GEO data working group. It was actually established in 2020. And again, the importance of this group is that it brings together the GEO community with a range of different stakeholders and addresses different aspects of data policy, data ethics, and data governance within the context of GEO. And to achieve these objectives, there are actually 3 subgroups. There is the law and policy, the data sharing and data management principles, and the in situ subgroup. And I actually co-chair one of the in situ, I am one of the co-chairs of the in situ subgroup. I think one of the things that is critical in the context of GEO and is driven by the community through the data working group is actually the priorities for GEO with regards to data. I'm not going to read everything that's on this slide. I just want to highlight a few points. Within the context of the data working group, we're trying to advance the critical discussions around data and knowledge and information, not just within the context of GEO, but more widely. And in fact, our previous speaker demonstrates how important and critical these conversations are within GEO, but more widely. We're also working towards looking at how advances in open science and data management practices are evolving. And open is a key element for GEO. It is actually so critical, and I think our previous speaker has already demonstrated the criticality of open data and open information. I just want to quickly say a few words about why open is such a key word in the context of GEO. Open knowledge and open data actually is crucial for addressing global social and economic challenges. It allows us to provide a comprehensive view of our changing planet, and we're all aware of how rapidly our planet is changing, and not for the good in many ways, as Evangelos mentioned in his opening statement. But open also encourages collaboration. And this is critical when we talk about community. And I once again want to emphasize the importance of the GEO community here. And also, this is the point of the workshop that we will be having later in the week, is bringing together the community to discuss these issues. But also, open is about inclusivity. We'll hear a lot this week, I think, about equity in GEO and the importance of making sure that everybody has equal opportunities to access data and information, so that it facilitates informed decision-making at all levels, right down to the local level. So I want to just say a little bit about the Open Data, Open Knowledge workshop, which will happen later this week, because this workshop is very much focused on GEO's priority around open science, open data, and critically open knowledge. As I already said, those three things cannot be separated. They need to be considered together. And this is why this Open Data, Open Knowledge workshop on Thursday and Friday is really important to the whole GEO community. So I really encourage you to participate. Yana said at the beginning that, this is going to be an exciting and vibrant week. And we hope this workshop will bring together many of those in the GEO community to really drill down into some of these issues. The workshop is actually going to be fundamental to promoting some of the future activities around data and knowledge. It will support GEO's ambition with regards to providing evidence-based information to members and to participate organizations. But critically, it will promote adoption of open knowledge practices throughout the GEO community, including the GEO work program activities, the regional GEOs, but also the wider community. But this workshop is also providing the opportunity for the GEO community to come together to identify the priorities and challenges related to open data and open knowledge. I want to take this opportunity to thank the organising committee for this workshop, because I think there's been a huge amount of work gone on in the background to bring together a really exciting programme of activities. So I want to thank everybody involved with the GEO Data Working Group. It's a fantastic group of people who are very energised and enthusiastic. I want to thank everybody involved with the GEOS platform and the GEO Knowledge Hub team, but also I want to mention the overall coordination from the GEO Secretariat, And in particular, I want to mention Paula, who's standing at the back, because she really motivates us from the background. So thank you, Paula. I'm not going to go through all of the topics on this screen, but I did just want to show you just some of the topics that will be addressed this week in the Open Data and Open Knowledge Workshop. Please go online and have a look at the programme. My final slides has a QR code. So if you've put your mobile phone away, please get it out, because that will jump straight to the programme for the ODOK workshop. Again, I'm not going to read this slide. This is for information, but I wanted to say a few things about what we hope to achieve from the ODOK workshop this week. Yana mentioned in her presentation the importance of data and information, and our subsequent speakers have also talked about the priorities for data and why they're so important. But the ODOK workshop is about bringing together the community to discuss the GEO priorities around data. But we want to provide recommendations that can inform the development of the information GEO-based products for the future. But I think the critical thing that I want to focus in on, as I've already been indicated that my time is up, is the importance of this workshop for actually bringing together the thoughts and views and opinions of the entire GEO community, so we can inform that post-GEO 2025 GEO strategy. Yana mentioned that it's not just a document, and I think this workshop is a first example of how it may be a strategy, but we have to think about what are the actions and how do we all work together to achieve that post-2025 strategy. Yana mentioned that it's not going to be a dry document. We want to see people engaged and really want to drive forwards the priorities of GEO for the future. So this workshop, it will very much seek to inform that post-2025 GEO strategy, particularly in the context of open knowledge and open data. So with that, I'm going to encourage you once again to join us on Thursday and Friday here in this room at the Open Data and Open Knowledge Workshop. As I threatened, there is the QR code, will give you the full programme for this workshop. I understand from Paula that we've had a huge number of registrants already, but I'm sure we can squeeze a few more people in if you haven't already registered. This is going to be a really exciting workshop. I'm really looking forward to it, and I really appreciate the opportunity to introduce this activity that's going to be happening here this week. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Helen. So actually getting to the numbers, we are 230 people in physical presence here in the GEO Symposium, and about 100 people being connected remotely. So actually we probably have broken the record of records for the GEO Symposium. So it's not just temperature that is breaking the records year by year. And before I turn it over to Wenbo from the GEO Secretariat to provide some housekeeping announcements, I would like to welcome you once more to 2023 GEO Symposium. And as Yana said, encourage everybody to be very active in the discussions we are having here. It's just 4 months before the ministerial in Cape Town, and we surely need to take advantage of this time to maturize our discussions and deliberations. So, Wenbo.
Good morning, everyone. It has been quite a few years since this GEO work program community met last time in Geneva. And this is your sure time. And the GEO Secretariat is here to commit to ensuring there will be a fantastic experience for you during the symposium, both at the sessions and between the sessions. So before we formally kick off the event, there are a few housekeeping notes I would like to share with you. Okay, this is the floor map So safety is most important. We want to ensure, so in case, there's any emergency, there are exits outside this room on the right and also in the front. But to be sure to just follow the emergency sign, and you will be safely be evacuated. And there are also signs on the walls closer to the doors. You can have a look when you have time. So let's, next. So we also have the coffee break area and also the restroom just in front of this meeting room. Let's discuss about the meeting protocols. As you have already been aware, the session will be recorded. For interactions, for questions, the meeting moderator will take questions both from the floor and from the online participants. For people in the room, please raise your hands and the moderator will monitor your hands and direct the questions to you. When you are in order to speak, please press the speaker button in front of your desk and be close to your mic so that you could be heard by everyone. For online participants, Slido will be used. So I would pause here for a moment so that you may take a photo of this one. You can either access Slido through your web browser, slido.com, or download an app. Use the code GEO 2023, or you can scan the QR code to access. And we kindly ask all the speakers to stay within the allocated times to help us, on the schedule. So you have a sufficient coffee break time and a lunch time. And please return to the meeting room on time after coffee breaks and the lunches. As Yana has kindly invited you, let's be interactive. Let's, post on our social media, tweet through hashtag GEO Symposium. Please add GeoSec 2025. And we are also on LinkedIn, Group on Earth Observations. And we will look at the posts at our closing session and to check how hard we have been working on social media. So let's see what are the most inspiring posts, what are most liked tweets. And we also ask you kindly to use your camera and share photos of best moments. If you could, please send your photos to geo-wp@geosec.org. We will make a photo album and we'll be showing that at the closing ceremony. Some hospitality, coffee breaks will be provided twice a day at the courtesy of the Secretariat, but lunch will be at your own cost. So the WMO cafeteria on the top floor will provide both hot meals and also sandwiches. Queues may be expected, but sandwich may be kind of an efficient option. So if you get out of the elevator on the top floor, turn left. So there's a sandwich bar over there. And there's also a food truck behind this building if you want to take some fresh air. And please, I may kind of mention this several times that no food or drinks are allowed in this meeting room. Otherwise, we will be in trouble. We will get a ticket from WMO. So we count on you. And there are fresh water around this meeting room and also water tap outside the room. So please help yourself with drinking water inside the room. Okay, a bit of a technical hiccup. I think I don't have Anything else? So the last thing is actually about the schedule of the day. So the coffee break will be between 10 to 10:30 and the lunch between 12:30 and 2. The afternoon coffee break 3:15 and 3:45. All right, so before we break for coffee, so let's invite the photographer, all-purpose Rick, onto the stage to take a group photo for us. And we kindly invite all the keynote speakers return to the first row of the floor. Thank you.